You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in New York City, and it is time for baseball as Hyundai presents the Sunday Game of the Week. Today, it's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the final game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with David Cohn. I'm Mike O'Kay. Well, the Yankees have made the most of this weekend. They've won 3 games in a row now, and they have a 2-game lead in the American League East. And it is the July 4th weekend, so there have been 2 things that have been prevalent: fireworks and walk-off wins.
Yes, walk-off wins of different varieties. As on Friday night, you're going to see Brian McCann, who loves hitting at Yankee Stadium, 28th home run at home out of his 35. That is a walk-off winner, a 3-run big shot, and there's the Gatorade bath to go with it. High drama. And then the opposite end of the spectrum, small ball. Flores with the bunt, Boxberger with the muff. You see the ball's in the dirt and gets away just enough for Jose Corella, who did great base running on that play and never hesitated. So home runs and bunts and 2 walk-offs.
All right, so can they make it 3 in a row against the Rays? Today's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank NA. See what know-how can do for you. Erasmo Ramirez will get the start for the Rays. And for the Yankees, it's Ivan Nova. And Davidson's coming up the DL. Ivan Nova's pitched very well.
He really has, and he's back early from his Tommy John surgery, but he did so well in his rehab starts that the Yankees were ready to trust him, and that was a good decision, as he has been smooth as silk. His delivery is very good, very solid. That curveball still very much a weapon for Ivan Nova. Yankees really counting on him to come through in the second half, as Nova's going to be a big part of that rotation, probably right in the middle of it.
And 2 straight home runs he served up to the Angels. That was the damage done in that game. Otherwise, he's pitched very well. And if you look at his career, David, he's pitched very well and won. And that's the key for a pitcher, winning 41 and 23. A .641 winning percent is the 6th highest by a Yankee pitcher since 1990. A minimum of 60 games started. The ERA isn't great, but he does win games. And the Yankees win games against the Rays because the middle of the order likes hitting against Tampa Bay. When we get back, Ryan Rucco will detail that next, right here on Yes.
The final game of their 3-game set. Now, we know the middle of the Yankees order has had a production renaissance this season, but specifically, they have been terrific against the Rays. You take a look at the numbers for Alex Rodriguez, Mark Teixeira, and Brian McCann. McCann, 5 extra base hits, 11 ribbies. Teixeira, 5 extra base hits, 11 ribbies. A-Rod, 4 homers and 7 ribbies. The 11 RBIs for McCann and Teixeira tied for the most against the Rays this season, and only Albert Pujols has hit more home runs than A-Rod against Tampa. Big reason why the Yankees are 8-4 against their division rival this year. Well, one more game between the Yankees and Rays. It is coming up next. Lineups, first pitch baseball with Michael and David next on Yes.
Make a connection to the road in the new Sonata. Visit your Hyundai dealer today. By Advanced Radiation Centers of New York, when it comes to fighting cancer, precision is everything. Call 844-2-RADIATION-DOC. And by Honda, start something special with a great deal on a Honda. Now at your Honda dealer. Yankees trying to make it 4 in a row and a 3-game sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays as they built a 2-game lead in the American League East. Yankees have taken the field. Ivan Nova is taking his warm-ups, and we'll take a look at the Rays starting lineup. Tampa Bay has lost 7 in a row, and they will lead off their shortstop as Drupal Cabrera. The left fielder is David DeJesus, batting second. Hitting third, the DH, Evan Longoria. James Looney at first base will clean up. The number 5 hitter, second baseman Logan Forsythe. Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder, will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing center field, Kevin Kiermaier. Jake Elmore is the third baseman. He'll bat eighth, and batting ninth and catching Kurt Casale.
No messing around as Ivan Nova's on the bump, ready to go. That's kind of the way it's been for him since he got back. So anxious and very solid so far. This will be his third start, and you see the numbers.
All right, the Yankees are in the shift. 3 infielders on the right side. Cabrera is ready. Nova is ready. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is swung on and grounded to second. Drew right there gobbles it up. 1 away. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Let's go ahead and give you the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And it's pretty simple. I mean, this is his third start. The thing I've noticed, Michael, is his rhythm and tempo has been so good. Just a smooth delivery, natural life. Hammer down, that's that curveball. A lot of different names for a curveball. Hammer, yellow hammer, the deuce. He's got a good one. One of the rare right-handed pitchers that really is a sinker curveball guy, and that sinker is a product of natural movement. He doesn't manipulate the ball. He just has a great delivery, great wrist position, and natural life.
David DeJesus takes a strike. Home plate umpire C.B. Buckner. The crew chief Dan Iasonia at first, Lance Barrett at second, and Gabe Morales is over third. The 0-1. 1-1. DeJesus in a bit of a slump. 2 hits in his last 31 at bats, but the team really slumping. As I mentioned, a 7-game losing streak. They've lost 11 of 13. They've gone from 10 over to 1 over at 42 and 41. Off the end of the bat, foul. And the Rays' final 10 games before the All-Star break, all against first-place teams. This is the final one against the Yankees. Next up, 4 games in Kansas City, where they've lost 8 of their last 9, and they finish up the first half of the season against the first place Houston Astros. The 1-2. 2-2. Strange to say that. First place Houston Astros.
It is. Still trying to prove themselves. There's a lot of non-believers out there that think that they've overachieved, but undoubtedly some great young talent, some of the best in the game.
The Yankee righty deals the 2-2. Line drive, a base hit to left center field. Cutting over is Gardner. He'll get the ball in, so a one-out single for De Jesus. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense, which is presented by Geico. In the outfield, you've got Gardner in center, flanking him on either side. In left field, it's Chris Young. In right field, it's Garrett Jones. In the infield, we'll go third to first. Headley, Gregorius, Drew, and Teixeira. McCann behind the plate, and Ivan Nova is on the mound. So here's Longoria getting half a day off as the DH. 29-year-old veteran. He's only played for the Rays. A lot of the right side of the infield is open for Longoria as Drew shades up the middle, not on the left side though. And with Teixeira holding on De Jesus, he's got about 85 feet of open real estate there. One and one.
Longoria, obviously the one guy in this lineup that you don't want to let beat you, especially with those career numbers against Nova, 3 of which are home runs.
Rays are not a great hitting team. They are in the AL East pennant race because of their pitching. But of late, their bullpen has sputtered just a bit, cost them some games, allowing about a run per inning. Now, yesterday, the Yankees won on an E1. So just for kicks and giggles, we decided to find out the last time they had a walk-off on an E1. You have to go back to September 28th, 1975 against the Orioles. And that was the Yankees' last home game at Shea Stadium as the ballpark was being refurbished in the Bronx. Dyer Miller, the reliever for the Orioles, tried to pick off Rick Dempsey off third, threw the ball away. During a rundown, Dempsey scored. Walk-off win. The 1-2. Skied the other way down the right field line. It is a base hit up against the wall. Jones fields quickly, gets the ball in. De Jesus will stop at third. It'll be a double for Longoria. And the Rays are set up. Second and third, one out.
Well, this is the type of hitter that Longoria is. As Nova wants it down and away, it runs up and out over the plate. And Longoria classically stays inside the ball and mashes it to right. Right down the line, short hop on the wall. Jones right there to maintain the scoreless game so far, second, third now.
And it's going to be a tough thing to maintain with James Looney at the plate, who just really owns the Yankees. A .411 hitter at Yankee Stadium, 44 for 107. Yankees play the infield back. They'll give up a run. Now, the Honda League Leaders gives you an interesting note on that .411. It's the second highest batting average for a player at a ballpark. Joey Votto's at .415 at Minute Maid Park. The 1-0.
A rare swing and a miss from James Looney. That was right out of the scouting report. Hammered down. As you see the true curveball down in the dirt over the heart of the plate.
1-1. Grounded right side, past a diving Drew. 1 run will score. They're sending home Longoria. He will score. And again, Looney continues to assault the Yankees. A 2-run single, and the Rays are on the board.
Sinker down. Decent pitch, although it got a lot of the plate, and Looney just drills it right in the hole. 2 RBIs past diving Drew.
Forsythe takes low, 1-0.
It's one of the toughest things for a starting pitcher, to come out of the bullpen after your warm-ups and find your location in the first inning. Clearly, Nova still searching for that.
There was a strike. Well, Tanaka was feeling his way in the first inning on Friday night, and the Yankees fell behind 2-0 and set up that dramatic 12th inning walk-off by Brian McCann. Now, we found some names that will make some older Yankee fans smile. I mean, you can't have 2 more disparate walk-offs than you had on Friday and Saturday. One, a 3-run home run, another one on a sac bunt that's thrown away. The last time the Yankees won a game in walk-off fashion because of a sac bunt in the regular season, May 6, 1943. Popped up. Gregorius calls off Headley, and there are 2 outs. Here's some names for you. Boston's Mace Brown threw away Charlie King Kong Keller's bunt, and that allowed Snuffy Sternweiss to score as the Yankees won. Now, a more recent vintage in a game that David was involved in, the Yankees had a walk-off win on a sac bunt in Game 2 of the 1996 ALDS against Texas. Dean Palmer threw away a Charlie Hayes bunt, allowed Derek Jeter to score in the bottom of the 12th.
Remember that one well.
Souza fouls it back. Souza gave the Rays a jolt of energy yesterday. A 2-run home run on a breaking ball from Dellin Betances to tie the game at 2 and set up the sacrifice bunt walk-off. Broken back, ground ball to Gregorius. That's going to do it. But the Rays scored 2. 3 hits, 1 man left. Rays 2, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. By Lexus, Yankees 44-37. They will lead off their center fielder, Brett Gardner. Chase Headley at third base will bat second. Batting third, the DH, Alex Rodriguez. Mark Teixeira's at first base cleaning up. The number 5 hitter, the catcher, Brian McCann. Garrett Jones in right field will bat sixth. Batting seventh, playing left field, Chris Young. D. Gregorius, the shortstop, bats eighth and batting ninth, and playing second base, it's Stephen Drew.
You get a look here at Erasmo Ramirez. And on the year, started out in the bullpen in the early part of April. As you see the games, and now 11 starts. This will be his 12th, and he has been very good for the Rays in the rotation. We'll go ahead and give you the pitcher scouter report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And 15 and 15. That's in regards to his earned runs given up. He gave up 15 earned runs in his first 2 appearances out of the bullpen this year. And since then, he's just given up 15, including 3-1 record and a 1.44 ERA in June. Since April 19th, he is at the top of the list in a lot of categories: opposing average, whip, Rays change. It's really that changeup he throws. He's throwing it a little under 30% of the time, and that's led to a reverse platoon split. Tougher against lefties than righties.
And he deals a fastball high to Gardner.
Left-handed batters just batting 188 because of that great changeup that the Rays teach, as you said, Michael, throughout their organization. They've really worked with Ramirez to throw that pitch more, and he has, and it's been extremely successful for him.
Look what he's done lately. Last 6 starts. Look at that ERA, 4-1, 1.13. The 1-1, 2-1.
You called it, Michael. I mean, the Rays have that system in place where they teach the changeup throughout their organization. When they get new pitchers over, they get them to throw it and trust it. And it has just undoubtedly been very successful top to bottom. When Ramirez throws it, hitters are just 9 for 63 off of that changeup this year when the at-bat ends with the changeup.
And that seems to be a pitch that just bedevils hitters, because hitting is so much about timing, and you're throwing off timing with the changeup. Because some pitches, you know, a slider and a fastball, there's not that much of a difference in the velocity. I mean, there's a difference, but not like the 10 to 15 miles an hour with a good changeup and a fastball, and it just fouls you up. You talk to hitters, and they hate a guy with a great change. Did he go? Yes, he did, as Morales punches out Gardner.
This is Ramirez's third best pitch, kind of an upshoot slider that runs up and in on Gardner, and he can't hold back.
Chase Headley takes low. Strike. Sliced the other way. It's a fair ball, and it kicks off the wall as De Jesus will play to Caron. Headley's going for 2. The throw is not in time. It's a double.
We've certainly seen Headley batting in the 2-hole try to do this more and more, as taking the fastball away, hitting against the shift. This one slicing down the line with a big ricochet that puts the double in doubt right here as De Jesus gets to it and makes a decent throw. But the fact that Headley did not hesitate allows him to get the hand just in under the tag.
That'll bring up A-Rod. 15 homers, 46 runs batted in. On base percentage of .388 for A-Rod, an OPS of .892. Certainly making a bid for an all-star berth. Starting lineups are going to be announced tonight. Yankees down 2-0. We're in the bottom of the first, just underway here on a Sunday at the stadium. We mentioned the Rays have lost 7 in a row. Kevin Cash before the game talked about his team's mood in the clubhouse. The guys are in a good spot, as good as it can be right now in this tough stretch. Looks like Kevin's trying to change the luck as he's clean shaven, which he rarely is. It's like he has a 7 o'clock shadow, a little bit more than a 5 o'clock every day.
See a lot of teams that struggle right before the break, trying just to get to the All-Star break intact, survive this little losing streak, and kind of reevaluate after the break. And it'll be interesting to see how active the Rays are at the trade deadline as well. A lot of people think the All-Star break is the halfway point in the season, and that's really not true. Today is the halfway point in the season. Well, 50% down.
81 to go for the Yanks. The Rays reached that a couple of days ago. 3-2 to A-Rod. Hit sharply to short. Cabrera keeps the body in front and throws out A-Rod for the second out. Staying put is Headley. Let's take a look at the Rays defense presented by Geico. De Jesus, Kiermaier, and Souza left to right in the outfield. Kiermaier can get it with anybody. Elmore, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Looney third to first. Casale behind the plate, and Ramirez is on the mound. Well, here's Mark Teixeira, who set up the walk-off yesterday with a double in the ninth, and he got pinch run for. Count 1-0. Teixeira 20 homers and 59 runs batted in. He does not go. 2-0. Yankees 8-4 against Tampa Bay this year. 6 games, including today, remaining between these two teams in the regular season. Now you have first base open, but you have a dangerous hitter on deck, Brian McCann. And he walked him. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Pretty nice day, 81 degrees, not much wind. Humidity 46%, plenty of sunshine on this Sunday afternoon as pitching coach Jim Hickey goes out to the mound. Now, you're a big proponent, David, of pitching around people that you don't want to beat you, and I can't say with any certitude that he pitched around them. It certainly looked like it.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't want any part of Teixeira right there, but as you said, you know, McCann has provided great protection for Mark Teixeira this year.
McCann, A-Rod, and Teixeira, one of 2 trios in Major League Baseball, have 45 or more RBIs each on the same team. And the Blue Jays trio, the other one. McCann loving the Bronx this year, hitting .330, 10 homers, and 30 runs batted in at Yankee Stadium this season. Now he has 13 homers and 52 ribbies overall. So he's played in 66 games with 52 ribbies. Last year, he picked up his 52nd RBI in his 109th game on August 24th. Many people thought he would be better this year. He'd be more comfortable, would not be thinking the contract he signed, and he has been a much better player. 2-2.
Good take right there. As you could just see that Ramirez was trying to get to the position to throw that changeup. Probably walking to Teixeira because he feels like that particular pitch would be more effective against McCann, but McCann spits on it.
2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-0 Rays. Right in on the hands, foul back.
Of those 13 home runs here in the Bronx.
Now he has 35 Yankee home runs in his first year plus with the Yanks, and 28 of them, as David mentioned in the open, have come at this ballpark. Runners will go. Way inside, the bases are loaded.
Once McCann sort of took that 2-2 changeup, the whole at-bat changed, and Ramirez trying to make sure he get that fastball in. Definitely got it in. Right back to the backstop. Now the onus is on Jones.
Ground ball. Backhanded by Looney. Steps on the bag, and that will do it as Ramirez works out of trouble. No runs a hit, and the bases are left loaded. We played one at the stadium. 2-0 Tampa Bay. The question, what do you think was the biggest key for the Yankees in the first half of the season, and why? MJB 285 said Brett Gardner, Alex Rodriguez, and Mark Teixeira. They've been the lineup's only constants.
Well, the biggest change, obviously, is Alex Rodriguez in the middle of that trio. In the year he's had so far, he has really defied everybody's predictions. You know, I remember being on your radio show, Michael, or in the offseason, trying to predict what Alex would give. All of us were wrong.
Yep. For what he has now, I mean, was everybody's best case scenario for the full year. Here's Kiermaier. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag #YankeesPrius to keep the conversation going. You talk to people around the Yankees, and they feel that Teixeira is not as big a surprise because they felt that that's the player he is if he's healthy. But no one knew the type of player that Alex was going to be. 2 hip surgeries, a year off with the suspension. What would he be? He's going to be 40 in a couple weeks. He's had a very good first half. Lined into center field. Gardner jumps and can't get there. It's over his head. And he runs down the ball on the warning track as Kiermaier will go to third. Well, that was misjudged by Gardner. He took a step in, then tried to make up some ground, could not.
Yeah, Kiermaier off the bat, tremendous backspin. As you see, this ball jumps, it just stays up, almost sails on Gardner. And the best he can do is track it down and get it back in, and Kiermaier's speed is just too much, and you see Gardner tries to recover, and that ball really took off. Just smoked off the bat of Kiermaier. That's brought to you by Yes Mo, your Mercedes-Benz tri-state dealer.
All right, here's Jake Elmore as the Yankees bring the infield essentially in. And that ball gets through McCann, but Kiermaier stays put. Didn't get far enough away.
Sinker straight down, right off of home plate. Those are the ones that sort of hydroplane. The ones that hit the dirt sort of kick up a little higher. That one's scooting, and McCann just enough leather on it to keep it from getting to the backstop.
To the number 8 hitter, Elmore. And he walked him on 4 pitches.
Nova gave up a 2 spot in the first inning. You come out in the second, line drive to the center fielder. Sails over Gardner's head, and now you're a little unnerved by it. You can tell. Leadoff triple here in the second. 4 straight pitches out of the zone.
Now the Yankees will give up a run to try to get a double play, so they back up at second and short. Sally was recalled from the minors on June 13th. Goes with the breaking ball outside. Fastball, 1-1.
So important for a pitcher here at the stadium to have the right mindset. When you're struggling early in the game, go ahead, just go for the ground ball here, even if you give up another run, because you know that offensively your team's so much better here in their home park. Try to stay away from another big inning. You trade a double play for a run right here.
Two and 1. High fly ball, left center. Young makes the play. Kiermaier will tag. He'll score easily on the sac fly by Casali, and it's 3-0 Rays.
Kind of see the shake of the head from Nova, kind of fighting it right now. Another sinker up just a bit. The stuff is good. Velocity's good. Throwing it where you're trying to throw it, the key. Easier said than done.
Cabrera takes outside. Last 10 games has Dribble hitting .364, 12 for 33. But he grounded to a second to open the game on the first pitch. This should be 2. There's 1. And there's 2. A 4-6-3 double play, but the Rays get a run on 1 hit. Nobody left. We go to the bottom of the second. 3-0 Rays. Medicine. Jacoby Ellsbury is 0 for 3 in his third rehab game. Last night, 5 innings in center field. He is playing today as a DH. He's missed 3 days because of general fatigue. He's been on the DL since May 19th with a sprained right knee. And once again today, Joe Girardi said he'll play and he'll be here when he's here. So the Yankees are not putting any timetable on it. As for Andrew Miller, he's going to be pitching an inning of rehab ball. And they'll have to stretch him out as a reliever, so you could see him in a hurry. The Yankee closer will be back shortly. Chris Young takes outside, so Ramirez given a 3-0 lead as he starts the bottom of the second. Young chops one to third. Elmore away. Here's Gregorius. Modest 3-game hitting streak. Average of 246.
Steady climb of the overall game of Gregorius over the last 6 weeks.
Well, April was awful. May a little better. June a little better. He's 5 for 10 in July. Chopped to first, backing up Looney. Nice backhand stab. And Ramirez cannot handle the throw.
Well, the first part of this is excellent. As Looney, anticipating a big hop, retreats, makes a nice backhanded stab. And Ramirez is there in time. Everything is right, except for the glove work from Ramirez, as you see plenty of time over there and hit him in a bad spot, right in the guante. Sometimes you get caught peeking, looking for the bag. That's the toughest part. Multitasking for a pitcher.
Stephen Drew cracks one to center field. Kiermaier there for the second out. Back to the top of the lineup, and Brett Gardner.
I would be very surprised, Michael, if this guy is not picked for the All-Star game on some level, either by the players or by the manager.
There's a strike. Well, he's been so great for the Yanks. Month of June was off the charts, hitting .298 with 9 homers and 39 ribbies. Scooped up by Casali.
Kind of comes down to a numbers game, obviously, and on the All-Star picks, as you see, this is excellent glove work. I mean, the only chance is to pick it with the glove. That ball was so far out in front of home plate and so inside. I think Mark Teixeira's chances have improved too with the injury to Miguel Cabrera to make the All-Star team.
I'm always amazed at David. He's on the DL. He's going to miss six weeks to start the Tigers, and it always seems like he has a lower body injury. Something's wrong with his legs, and that's the first time he's ever been on the DL in a 13-year career. So he plays through the pain. This time he could not. 3-1 on Gardner.
There's a big difference between a strained calf and a torn calf. Not sure the degree of the injury to Cabrera, but there does seem to be some fibers that were torn a bit. So that's going to take a little while to get back. Good 6 weeks at least.
And they'll miss him. The 3-1. Gardner works a walk. And that brings up Headley as a tying run here in the bottom of the second. Headley sliced a double to left in the first inning. You've got Gregorius at second and Gardner at first. So good speed on the bases for the Yankees. They trail 3-0. Bottom of the second. And a strike.
It's been interesting to watch Headley's approach, as we mentioned last time, really looking to take advantage of the shift and go against the grain. Extreme shift on now. A lot of room over by shortstop right there.
Popped up. Elmore in foul territory, battling the sun, and makes the play for the final out. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. We played 2 at the stadium. Tampa Bay 3, New York 0. Women's World Cup final is here, and it's a rematch 4 years in the making as Alex Morgan and Team USA take on defending champion Japan to see who will be crowned a champion. Coverage begins today at 5 p.m. on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Maybe some future World Cup participants right outside the stadium. As we go to the third, David De Jesus will lead off. Pitch outside, 1-0. It's early. David does not look like he has pinpoint command.
No, really falling behind a lot. Just 4 out of 11 first pitch strikes so far for Nova.
Audi A3 scoreboard, 3-0 Tampa Bay.
A lot of its command of that curveball, so important for Nova. Basically fastball, curveball, occasional changeup. Kind of lives and dies with the location on that curveball, especially on first pitches, getting a strike.
Rip foul. This is what he's done pitch selection wise this year. 40% four seamers, 27% sinkers, close by with curves, and changeups used the least frequently.
Basically lump those first two categories together. 67% fastballs.
And 2. Yankees have an off day tomorrow, so they can go to the bullpen early if, in fact, Nova does not find it. And he walks De Jesus, second walk.
That is the position Nova has been in for the majority of this outing. Never really getting his windup going. Pitching more from the stretch now in the first 3. Once again, right back in it.
Here's Longoria, who doubled down the right field line in the first inning, eventually came around to score. De Jesus leads off first, held there by Mark Teixeira. Oh and 2.
Longoria, certainly the face of the franchise for the Rays, the one constant they've had over the last several years. Longoria first in franchise history in home runs, RBIs, and doubles.
Got the fastball right by him for the first out. Jacked it up to 94.
Indeed he did. And missing location again just beats Longoria with stuff. 94, a little riding action, maybe caught Longo looking off speed.
There's Looney as the Yankees try to slow him down. 2-run single in the first inning. This series, he came off the DL to start on Friday. He's 4 for 9 with 3 ribbies against the Yanks. Again, down in the count 2-0.
Seems like teams are taking note of how well Brian McCann is throwing the ball nowadays. You have to really pick your spots to try a stolen base.
Grounded to first. Let's see if they turn 2. There's 1. Nova covering. There's 2. 3-6-1 double play as they get Looney to ground into a twin killing. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the third. 3-0 Tampa Bay. Giveaway. It's Dellin Betances figurine night, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a Dellin Betances figurine courtesy of PC Richard & Son. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. All over my scorebook, but looking good. Very nice. A-Rod will lead off here in the bottom of the third inning. Grounded to short in the first. Popped it up. Looney drifts back and casually makes the play in foul territory. That'll bring up Mark Teixeira. And now it's time for today's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. And these facts concern Mark Teixeira. Most 20 or more home run seasons amongst active players. And Mark's on that list with 12. Leading the list is A-Rod with 15. And here's Teixeira. We have another list that we dug up. Actually, our crack statistician, James Smythe, to see the Audi A3 scoreboard, 3-0 Tampa Bay. And it's about A-Rod. Coming into that at bat when he just fouled out, he had a 283 batting average, a 387 on base percentage, and a 502 slugging percentage. So James went looking to see how unusual that is for a player of his age. There have been 5 other players since 1900 to hit those marks or better at 39 or older. Just 5. and the names are pretty impressive. Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Stan Musial, who did it at age 41, Willie Mays, and Barry Bonds. So to say it's rare is an understatement.
Those first four names are the Mount Rushmore of baseball right there.
And there's the Mount Rushmore of stat guys. James Smythe. Nobody else on that list. You know, Ruocco used to think he was on that list. Smythe has just moved him aside. High fly ball. Right field. Souza makes the play.
If it's a Mount Rushmore, Michael, doesn't that mean there's room for four of us?
There is room, but not for you.
Fair enough.
And you know that I had the highest praise for you back then, but James has redefined the position.
He's taking up the space of all four, I guess.
You're not hurt, are you?
Well, a little bit. Maybe slightly. It's all right. I agree. James is terrific. He's eclipsed everything I ever did in this stats booth.
Popped up. Elmore fighting the sun. He can't see the ball, so Cabrera makes the play for the final out. Yankees go down in order. Ruocco licks his wounds. We go to the fourth. 3-0 Rays. Photo. Use hashtag YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. All right, we move to the fourth inning at Yankee Stadium. It's 3-0 Rays. Ivan Nova's still trying to find it. The command just not there. Lincoln scoreboard shows the Rays with a 3-0 lead.
The double play ball really saved him in the last inning, and now pitch count's still good for Nova, so got a chance to recover.
You know, David mentioned during the open, Nova has come back from the Tommy John surgery a little faster than most starters. It took him 14 months. And you see others that a year and a half. I thought that what the Mets did with Harvey was smart, rather than rushing him back toward the end of last year, give him that whole time. And boy, he came out on opening day throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. And Harvey said that even though you feel better, you don't recover the same way. Your release point, your body just feels different. It takes a while to adjust. You know, it used to be the thought process that was an automatic comeback from Tommy John surgery. It's really not. A lot of guys don't come back from it.
A lot of guys have to go back in for a second surgery, too. A lot of talk, Michael, that in new technology, new medical research, that they're going to improve the Tommy John procedure. They may even actually be able to cut that time in half with some new procedures that are being developed right now, as opposed to the actual full ligament transplant.
Grounded to third on the short hop, Headley. Well, some of the new things they're talking about, David, isn't about arthroscopically doing it as well, not having to cut the whole elbow open?
Absolutely. More of a bridge technique with an artificial substance, sort of like a cartilage replacement. Several of these types of new surgeries have already been done with college pitchers, so stay tuned. Over the next 10 years, it could be great advancements in the Tommy John procedure in and of itself.
Here's Steven Souza. Fourth inning of yesterday's game, Souza was 0 for his last 26. Picked up a hit, then had the home run in the ninth against Betances. So maybe he's starting to snap out of his slump. A rookie. He has 15 homers, 10 stolen bases, and he's the fourth rookie to do that before the All-Star break in the history of the game. Nice stab there by Headley. 2 outs. The other three, Dave Kingman, Devon White, Danny Espinosa.
This guy plays some center field. Devon White can play some center field, too. One of the best ones I've seen. Kiermaier already developing a bit of a legend early in his career on his ability to play center field.
Made a great play on Friday, robbing Stephen Drew of an extra base hit and a run. And according to advanced metrics, he saved 20 runs this year playing center field, the most of any defensive player. The Rockies' Nolan Arenado has saved 15 runs.
Mentioned Arenado playing third base in Colorado, kind of under the radar, but offensively and defensively, one of the maybe the biggest underrated player in the game going right now.
Here's the Friday catch.
Incredible jump, incredible speed. Talk about exit velocity off the bat. Use exit velocity with the legs.
31st round draft pick. Right. Base hit through the right side for Kiermaier. A triple and a single. Big turn. Boy, he plays the game at 78 RPMs.
See the hard bounce. Full swing, barrel of the bat, straight down. Get some top spin, and yes, he does, Michael. Takes nothing for granted.
Fly ball right field. Elmore is retired, and that'll do it. No runs to hit, no errors, and one man left. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 3-0 Rays.
Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by People's United Bank, the way you bank, but way better. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in the city, but the Yankees are having trouble against Erasmo Ramirez. They trail 3-0. They've managed just one hit, and that was a first-inning double by Chase Headley. And you see that on the Lincoln scoreboard. So it's going to be Jones, Young, and Gregorius here in the bottom of the fourth. Yankees had an opportunity in the first inning, bases loaded, 2 men out. Jones, after seeing Teixeira and McCann walked in succession, jumped on the first pitch, a change, and grounded it to first. Looney made the play, and the threat went by the boards. Now he's worked the count to 1-1. Shift is on, 3 infielders on the right side. And the count 2-1. With the injury to Beltran, Jones is going to see a lot more action. And obviously Ellsbury's already out, so Chris Young seeing action today against a right-hander when he's so much better against lefty pitchers. And Chris is on deck. Lined into center field. It is caught by Kiermaier. Got a great jump, taking a hit away from Jones.
Indeed. I mean, sometimes there is no justice. So you see Jones with a line drive. Hit it to the wrong guy. I'll take it.
Here's Young. Rounded to third. That was in the second. Now, I know when guys make errors behind pitchers, for the most part, they don't say, "I'm sorry," in the dugout. When a guy makes a great play behind you, do you ever thank him when he gets to the dugout?
Yes, definitely you
Yeah.
do. I played with a pitcher, Mark Gubazza, for the Royals. We know he's a broadcaster with the Angels now. He used to point in the middle of the game. He was one of the first ones I saw do it.
Young gets clipped. He'll take first.
This looks like it went right through him. Just barely nicks the uniform on the way back.
Wow, that's the way to get hit. Here's Gregorius. He reached on an E1 as Ramirez dropped a toss from Looney, covering first. And there's a strike. Yankees have done the job here at home. They're 23-14 in the Bronx. And Joe Girardi mentioned yesterday we've got to pick it up a little bit on the road, 21-23. And it seems like they've been on the road for most of the first half of the season. Obviously, that's not the truth, but there is a difference. The Yankees will have a lot of home games coming up in a short period of time. Those are the best home records in the American League this season. The Astros and the Twins ahead of the Yanks.
Schedule certainly favors the Yankees in the second half. No more West Coast trips. Strength of schedule was skewed or front loaded for the Yankees.
Line and caught there by Elmore. Fires to first. It's a double play. So Gregorius hit it on the screws, but a 5-3 double play to end the bottom of the fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We're going to the fifth inning here in the Bronx. It's 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Blue Jays 3 back, and the Red Sox still hanging 7 back today against the Astros. The Red Sox are starting David Ortiz at first base. First time he's done that in a non-National League city where there was no DH since 2005.
Yeah, Mike Napoli going to the bench. Obviously, he struggled so far this year.
Casali will lead off against Nova.
And more importantly, you can get Hanley Ramirez in the DH hole.
Right.
He really doesn't have a position to play nowadays. The Red Sox with a lot of young outfielders who play great D, including Jackie Bradley Jr.
No, David, that's why that signing was so curious. They have a shortstop that they really like in Sandra Bogarts. Hanley Ramirez doesn't seem like the type of player who's going to adapt well with position change, and he's been very bad in left. He's a DH by trade, and you've got a DH who's, you know, iconic there and didn't seem to be slipping. This year the numbers are down a bit, but it just seemed there were pieces that wouldn't fit. So now you have David Ortiz playing first base. That doesn't fit either.
The premium on right-handed power hitting is so great in today's game, especially when your home park is Fenway. The temptation was just too much for them.
Just roll the dice on the defense. 2-1. Line drive, a base hit to left field. Young cuts over. He'll play it off the wall, and Casali, who had a sac fly in the second, now leads off the fifth with a double. Now we go back to the studio, and Bob Lorenz has more. Thanks, Bob. And the White Sox have been playing the Orioles tough, taking the first 2 games. Chris Sale continues what is an unbelievable run of pitching. And the White Sox certainly have not started out the way they want. They're in last place in the Central, but 9 games back. That's a lot, but it's not insurmountable. They do have to jump over all those teams. Line drive down the right field line. It is a foul ball.
Yes, this one clearly foul by 6 to 10 feet. Got an update from Tampa for you, Michael. Jacoby Ellsbury has a single in the 4th inning of that particular game, an A-ball. So he is playing, does have a single. Yankees would love to see him as soon as possible.
Bunted back to Nova. He fires to third and he throws it past Headley. Casali will score. Cabrera will stop at second, and it's 4-0 Tampa Bay. Ill-advised throw to third base by Nova.
Well, you have to be perfect if you're going to try this play, as Cabrera gets it down a little towards the pitcher too much, and Nova just wheels and deals. It's a tag play instead of a force, so it would have taken a really good throw. Get another look right here as Nova spins. Hard to know on the field what Nova heard, but the throw's nowhere near. Headley with no shot. Sometimes you'll get players or fans from the other side yell 3-3-3. It's possible maybe McCann might have tried to direct him where to go. We'll have to ask him after the game. If Nova made a good throw right on the bag, Headley did have a shot at a tag. Not a lot of margins for error, though.
Well, let's listen. We have the mics down on the field. Let's see if we hear 3-3-3. We hear 3-3. And that doesn't mean third. That means the number 3, where you keep score. That's first base.
You can almost see Nova sort of flinch there when he heard McCann. We're assuming that was McCann. Sure sounded like it, saying 3-3. McCann's got the read. from my judgment, a good throw on the bag. Headley would have had a chance to tag him out.
Yankees get Brian Mitchell up in the bullpen as they're down 4-0 here in the 5th. You know, one other point about Jacoby Ellsbury. David just told you he had a hit. Joe Girardi said before the game that he was going to DH today. He's actually playing center. So that's a good sign that his legs are feeling pretty good. Fly ball left field. Now I'm curious, David, though. Players don't know 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, when he's saying 3-3, he's saying throw to third. He's not saying throw to first.
No, 3-3 means third base.
Yeah, I misspoke. He definitely means that. So that was called by McCann to throw to third.
Yeah, sure sounded like it. Great microphone audio work here by our crew.
Great job by Greg Curry. So first he would go 1-1. Right?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. 1-1 or 3-3.
So my apologies, I misspoke. So 3-3 definitely is the throw to third, and that was McCann's call, and it would have taken a perfect throw.
And it looked like it caught Nova a little off guard. There was a little flinch in there, and as he tried to rush and spin and fire it to third. Longoria's double in the first inning, the opposite way. .40-30 is not what you had in mind starting this game in terms of strikes to ball ratio.
How long do they stay with Nova? 3-0 now on Longoria. Boy, Cabrera has a huge lead off third when the ball is being delivered. Off second. And you can see that Drew now is getting closer to the bag to try to check him back. So Longoria walks. Runners on first and second. 1 run in, 1 run out. A 1-man out, and it's a 4-0 Rays. So Mitchell's ready, but they're deciding to stay with Nova here. Hoping to get the double play. That's what they got against Looney in the third.
That's exactly right, Michael. Going to give Nova one more shot to get a ground ball here to get out of this inning.
Looney a 2-run single in the first, then the 3-6-1 double play in the third.
That's That's the pitch that's really hurt Nova today. He's had good break on it. That curveball, he's just hasn't been able to drop it in there for a strike and get ahead in the counts. A lot of misses with first pitch curveballs today. This was the day that CC Sabathia was scheduled to pitch, and the Yankees juggled the rotation to get Ivan Nova in here today and give Sabathia a little bit of break. Sabathia will schedule to pitch Wednesday now. Difference for a pitcher in rehab, getting into game shape, regular 5-man rotation shape.
Fly ball shallow right, coming on is Jones, and he makes the play for out number 2.
Nova got it in there, tied up Looney. As Jones, good read, came right in. 2 hands, securing. Brought to you by Yes Mo and your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers.
4-0 Tampa Bay, first and second, 2 outs, trying to hold it right here with Forsythe at the plate. So Casale leads off the inning with a double to left. Then Cabrera lays down a sac bunt, fielded by Nova, who tries to get the out at third, throws the ball away, allowing Casale to score, and Cabrera moved to second. De Jesus with a fly ball to left, Longoria with a walk, Looney fly ball to right, and now here's Forsythe.
Big difference that's underrated for a pitcher in Nova's situation, Michael, is all the rehab work, all the arm strength is built up. You had a great debut, but the last piece of the puzzle is the high intensity of being in a major league rotation, recovery in between, getting used to getting back on that 5-day routine. Much easier said than done after missing as much time as he has. Mentally and emotionally getting used to the grind again.
Nova steps off. It's been all Rays so far as they try to salvage the final game of this 3-game set and also to stop their 7-game losing streak. Right to Drew, positioned perfectly, and that will do it. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 big error, and 2 men left. We're halfway through. It's 4-0 Rays.
Subscribe to MLB.tv Premium for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Stephen Drew will lead off against Ramirez, and Drew shows bunt and takes a strike. Drew trying to change his luck. He's gone with the high socks. He's been a guy where the pants have been right around the shoe tops.
When you think about this Tampa Bay Rays starting rotation, even going back into spring training, they were going to have Alex Cobb, Chris Archer, Drew Smyly, Jake Odorizzi, and Nathan Karns. Obviously, injuries have wreaked havoc with their rotation. Odorizzi's scheduled to come off the DL. He's pitching rehab start tomorrow, Monday. Could be lined up Saturday to come back.
Rounded right into the shift. One away.
The way Ramirez is pitching, I doubt if he's the one that's going to get bumped. Chris Archer certainly lived up to his billing. Erasmo Ramirez, clearly the biggest surprise, not only in this rotation, maybe in the American League so far in the first half. And that continues today.
Rip foul. That's played by the ball boy. Gardner struck out and walked.
Another young member of the rotation, Alex Colomé for the Rays, is scheduled to pitch on Monday night, which lines up with Odorizzi. So he's probably the guy that's going to get bumped to the bullpen, although the Rays have not said as of yet.
Down goes Gardner for the second out.
It's his third best pitch, sort of a backdoor slider. As Ramirez is starting to really get into a groove and use all of his pitches. We talked about that exceptional changeup that he's developed, being his primary out pitch. It is remarkable, Michael, when you look at the Rays and their overall numbers in pitching this year, combined with the injuries and all the rookies they've had to run out there. One of the underrated stories of the first half is how good the Rays pitching overall has been. That guy right there deserves a lot of credit. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, just continues to post great numbers with his staff.
Strike three. Headley down looking. Not in love with that call as the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. We're going to the sixth inning. Rays 4. Yankees nothing. Yankees have just one hit. Midsummer Classic with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. Coverage of the 2015 MLB All-Star Game begins July 14th at 7 p.m. on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. All right, we go to the 6th inning as Joe Girardi makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. Ivan Nova, his day over as they bring in Brian Mitchell.
Brian Mitchell is here because he has been impressive so far in the bullpen. Obviously, he was a starter in AAA, but the need is here and now, and he has an opportunity. Obviously, a big right arm to go with it, as he's regularly 95 plus with his fastball.
Joe uses Mitchell carefully. He's a starter at AAA. Doesn't want to use him in back-to-back games just yet, so he spots him. And he needs some innings. Obviously, this is a game that's still very winnable.
There's obviously a couple of different schools of thought with Mitchell. You see a little scrambling in the Rays dugout. Foul ball chasing him up the stairs.
Got stuff like his. You can see why Chris Archer's laughing.
Good to be him right now.
Yep. Bullpen didn't help him out on Friday. Turned a 3-0 lead over to the bullpen, and the Teixeira home run tied it, and then McCann's home run in the 12th won it for the Yanks. But he pitched great. 2-2. Swing and a miss. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. There's that live arm.
So I was saying before, obviously a big right arm up the ladder. Plus fastball. Question with Mitchell is do you leave him in AAA to continue to develop as a starter, or do you try to get him here now because there's a need in the bullpen, and he has thrived so far early? I like the idea of him learning on the job up here. It's a little bit old school, Michael. It's the way I did it. A lot of future starters started out in the bullpen in the big leagues to get your feet wet. I think having success up here brings so much confidence, and Mitchell has enjoyed it so far. I think in the long run, that's really going to help him.
There's a resume. North Carolina kid, drafted by the Yankees in the 16th round, made his major league debut last year. 5 seasons in the Yankee organization. The only thing that worries me, though, David, because people are so obsessed with advanced pitch counts and innings limits, if you break this guy down into a reliever and then all of a sudden you say, well, he's ultimately going to be a starter, then the first time he's actually a starter in the big leagues, he's probably a 120-inning guy, and you have to shut him down at some point.
Depends on how he ends up this year. I mean, he did get almost a full half year of starting this year and has been a starter. But he's sort of one of those guys who could thrive in the back end of a bullpen as well. It's something that needs to be evaluated.
Slow roller and a foul ball. I mean, look what's happened with Warren. He was a starter in the minors and then a couple years in the bullpen. The reason they took him out of the rotation was because if he projected the rest of the year going every 5th day, he's going to be way over where they want him to be. So it's something you have to weigh when you make this decision.
Absolutely. It's very difficult nowadays. As Michael correctly points out, the attention to detail in terms of workload and pitch counts. I think the decision with Mitchell is this guy going to be a great power arm at the back end of the bullpen?
Right back to Mitchell.
He's looked so good so far, just in limited duty, that he's opened some eyes. Sort of, wait a minute, this power arm might be a great addition. He could project towards high leverage situations eventually.
What would you say is more valuable? Let's say Mitchell might project as a 3.5, between a 3 and a 4 starter, or a guy who's going to be a lights out 7th inning guy. What's more valuable?
Well, I think obviously quantitatively speaking, starters are always going to be more valuable. You just have them out there for more innings.
Lined right at Teixeira again, defensively placed in the perfect spot, and Mitchell works a 1-2-3 inning.
We'll continue this discussion as we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-0 Rays. You're watching Yankees baseball here on Yes. The official hybrid of the New York Yankees. And so Brian Mitchell works a 1-2-3 top of the 6th. Now A-Rod leads off against Erasmo Ramirez. A lot of the Yankees one hit. So let's finish up that point, David. Let's say a 4th starter gives you 190 innings, 14-12, and a 7th inning guy who's really a strong 7th inning guy. Which one do you think is more valuable? Can you find that 4th inning guy anywhere, or the 4th starter guy? It's tough to find the lights out closer. I mean, the game's played differently now. Look at the Kansas City last year.
Yes, the game is played differently. Power arms in the bullpen are becoming more and more valuable. The starters are obviously, if you can get a guy that can throw 150 to 200 innings.
That one is driven deep to left center field. De Jesus back, looking up. See ya! A home run for A-Rod. A solo shot. The Yankees on the board. It's 4-1 Tampa Bay. Home run number 16 for Alex.
Been loud sounds off of Alex Rodriguez's bat all year long, and it continues here on a fastball, which, as we said before, Michael, everybody predicted that that's the pitch that would give him the most trouble, and that's not the case, as Alex has mashed fastballs regularly all season long so far.
Here's the way it sounded off the bat. Now, the interesting thing about Alex, I think most fans know this, he's really a smart player. And he can cheat on fastballs because he can think, okay, this is where he's going to. That's why he's not late on it. And there have been some great players in baseball that are guess hitters. That one's driven to right field and deep. Going back, Souza, track, wall, and he makes the play to take an extra base hit away from Teixeira.
Right in front of the auxiliary scoreboard, and it ends up a fastball again up and on the inner half of the plate. Teixeira wondering if he got it. Nope. As Souza Doesn't really have to go up over the wall. Maybe another 5 feet, and that's up and over the board, the scoreboard.
Pitch to McCann is low. Hit sharply into the shift. Forsythe throws out McCann for the second out.
You know, I think, Michael, with regards to Brian Mitchell, I think you know, always starters, because they're out there for longer quantitatively, they give you more innings, more chances to add value. Certainly that argument's always going to be for a starter over a 7th inning reliever. But the case with Mitchell is how does he really profile? He's kind of one of those tweener guys. He could be a really good starter, but it looks like he could be a dominant reliever too with that stuff. And does he have enough control in secondary pitches, meaning third pitches, in his repertoire to be that kind of starter? We know right now he's got the stuff to be a great reliever, throwing 97 with a good hook. And when, you know, Joe Girardi, the manager, loves him. Great makeup, great arm, really works hard. It's one of those kids that you want to keep around. Managers love to keep around because you know you need him now. So that's why he's still here, even with Adam Warren going to the bullpen.
And in terms of value, David, I guess salaries are the ultimate proving point. Starters make more money than relievers. The best starter will make close to 30 or over $30 million. The best reliever ever was Mo, and I think he topped out at 15, 16 million.
Some of it's the eye test too, you know, when you watch a young pitcher on the mound, how they thrive when they go to the bullpen. A guy who's a starter. We saw that with Phil Hughes back in 2009, where all of a sudden they just start pitching from the stretch, simplify the repertoire, 2 pitches only. Velocity goes up. Brian Mitchell's got that look right now all of a sudden, even though it's a very small sample size. He's got that look of a guy who, wow, I kind of like this role. Throwing strikes.
And any player would rather be a reliever in the big leagues than a starter in the minors.
You do get a chance to contribute now. It only adds to his value. You know, other teams look at Brian Mitchell and they ask about him with the trade deadline coming up, and knowing that he can do both now. So you certainly have added to his value in the short term.
That one is looped into left field, and it's a base hit. Jones going for 2, and he's in there.
Well, first off, it's a fastball in. He just fights it off. A little blooper. You can see here, Jones never hesitates. Busted right out of the box. Maybe just a hair of a hesitation, and there's no turning back now, and Cabrera can't get much on the throw back to second base. Just a shift, nobody home. Cabrera ends up falling away from second base and can't get any mustard on the throw back.
This chiropractic telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. And Jim Hickey comes out, talks with Ramirez. You know, one other pitcher that we failed to mention that's on the way too is Matt Moore, coming off the DL. So
yeah, he's already pitched once.
Yeah, they're going to have and really be a full-fledged starter. So he pitched on Thursday, and obviously you're going to have him be there every 5 days and Odorizzi be there every 5 days. You just wonder, is Tampa Bay going to be able to hit enough to support the pitching? The 0-1.
1-1.
Getting James Looney back off the DL is going to help.
It seems like teams throughout baseball, David, are missing really important pieces because of injuries. And if you're the Rays, you have to look at it and go, you know, we're hanging in a division where we're supposed to be last place, and we didn't have Moore and we didn't have Odorizzi. Not too bad. And Looney's been on the DL twice, 2 separate times this year. And he's one of the linchpins of their lineup. Skied the other way and out of play.
Yeah, you think about Alex Cobb and Drew Smiley as well.
Yeah,
really going to be counted on. Losing Desmond Jennings, a young, promising outfielder as well.
I just think the problem with the Rays, though, David, I don't think that they're in add-on mode salary-wise. They draw flies in Tropicana Field. I just don't think they're going to add salary. The 2-2. And we told you on Friday, you know, they play much better on the road than they do at home.
Pitch number 94 coming from Ramirez. If nothing else, this particular inning has pushed his pitch count to a level to where this is probably his last inning, as you see Cedeno, the lefty, backing him up.
And we told you of late their relievers have been spotty at best. They've allowed 22 runs in 22 in the 3rd inning, so pitching to about a 9 ERA. And there's the breakdown of the 94 pitches. Nice catch guy in the first row of the 2nd deck. Yes. Clean. I think you make a catch like that, you have to take your bow.
He's got a chance for the highlight reel there. One of the reasons Joe Girardi penciled Young in the lineup today, as we mentioned in the scouting report, is the reverse splits for Ramirez. Much tougher against lefties so far this year than righties. So Girardi had a choice, Flores or Young. He chose Young, who's recently been very hot. Right-handed batters against Ramirez kind of neutralizes that great changeup, as you see those numbers illustrate.
Grounded in the hole. Backhanded by Cabrera. The long throw. He gets Young, and that will do it. But the Yankees finally get on the board. And it's off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. His 16th home run of the year. 47th rookie when it lands. The score, Tampa Bay 4, Yankees 1. Game set starting Tuesday. The starting pitcher is brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. Sonny Gray, one of the best in the game, 9-3, 2.09. Nathan Eovaldi having a winning season at 8-2, 4.52. Our coverage will begin at 6 on Yes. And first pitch right around 7:07. Is Ramirez done for the day? Mitchell works from the stretch, and the 1-0. Drops a breaking ball in there for a strike.
Michael, I'd like to take some time to give a shout out to Billy Connors, former pitching coach, longtime Yankees exec. He had a fall in his home a couple weeks ago, and he's back home on the mend.
Ground ball to Gregorius. Get well, Billy.
Get well, Billy. I'm sure he's watching the game. Billy Connors, one of the great characters.
And since we're talking pitching, we should send out birthday wishes to Rich Goose Gossage, celebrating his 34th, he wishes, his 64th birthday today. Further information on Jacoby Ellsbury, and it looks like it is done for Erasmo Ramirez. Now the bullpen will take over. Ellsbury first inning ground out, fourth inning single. Also scored a run sixth inning. He just grounded out. Tampa Yankees down 4-3 against Daytona, which is the Reds affiliate. And maybe you see Ellsbury at some point against the A, or maybe even against the Red Sox in Boston next week. Yankees are not committing to anything because Joe Girardi goes out of his way to say he'll be here when he's here. Line drive right field, and played poorly there by Jones. Lucky he didn't get by him as Cabrera picks up a single. When you go backhand like that, there's a chance it could get by you.
Yeah, that's a tough one as you try to come in and see if you can make a play, and then you're just in protect mode. You know you're not going to get there. And actually, no leather, all wrist.
So runner on first base, 7th hit for the Rays. Here's De Jesus. He has one of those hits. He's 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. 96 inside. See if they turn 2. There's 1. There's 2. A 4-6-3 double play, and Mitchell has worked 2 scoreless innings, the 6th and the 7th. At the end of 6 1/2, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. The Rays lead 4-1, but we're going to stay right here to honor America in New York.
And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest who is joined by his family. United States Army Reserve Chief Warrant Officer 2, Kevin Blowers from Parsippany, New Jersey, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. The Yankees say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate. And welcome Technical Sergeant Hannah Shirey from the United States Air Force Band. She will now sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
So the Yankees get Ramirez out of the game because of the pitch count. Time for the game summary, brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 E for Tampa Bay. For the Yankees, it's 1-3 and 1. Looney, a 2-run single. Ramirez went 6, 3 hits, a run, the A-Rod home run. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and A-Rod's home run was his 16th of the year. So the Rays will bring in the left-hander, Xavier Cedeno. 3 left-handers in the bullpen for the Rays. And Cedeno faces 3 lefties in a row: Gregorius, Drew, and Gardner.
Yep, and that is why he's in there, and good numbers on the year. Actually, since he joined the Rays on April 28th, he's tied for the Major League lead with 32 appearances, 27 of which have been scoreless. But like most lefties, a big split. Lefties only batting 197, righties over 300, 340 plus.
Gregorius is 0 for 2. Reached on an E1 as Ramirez dropped the throw from Looney at first and lined sharply into a 5-3 double play. So 1-0 on Gregorius. Hey. 1-1. Brendan Gomes up. 1-2.
Yeah, Gomes warming up quickly, as I'm sure Girardi's going to make some changes here. Looks like Jose Perella's in the on-deck circle, so the righty's getting ready in a hurry.
Taps softly, third base side of the mound. Cedeno fields quickly and makes the play.
Just not quite enough on it to get it by the pitcher. Otherwise, Gregorius probably would have had a chance to beat that out. Cedeno plenty of time to field and throw.
So here's the pinch hitter for Drew. Drew was 0 for 2. So the bullpen did not do the job for Archer on Friday. Let's see if they do it for Ramirez here on a Sunday.
That's what they were saying in the seventh.
Count 1-1. And 2.
We saw those shots of Chris Archer in the Rays dugout today. I just can't get over how young he looks. You know, just baby face. Definitely get carded in Manhattan if he tries to go out.
Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Casale. And Perella will reach. So a strikeout. Let's see if it scored a wild pitch or a pass ball. Wild pitch.
Yeah, usually balls in the dirt are going to be scored a wild pitch, and even though from Cedeno's standpoint, it hits right on front of home plate. You see, that's where the tricky hop came in. See the disappointment there, but not really his fault. Casilli got a very unusual bounce because it hit right at the tip of home plate, which made it shoot in the opposite direction.
So here's Gardner, who's 0 for 2 with a walk, 2 strikeouts. Got Gardner moving a little bit toward first base with the delivery.
Yeah, Cedeno's tough to pick up. A couple of different kinds of breaking balls. We're seeing a big curve and a slider, and you see Gardner just checking, having a hard time picking up this slider.
Hard time reaching that pitch, and the count 2-2. Jake McGee now joins Gomes. McGee probably getting ready for McCann, although he didn't do it on Friday. Maybe you want to turn Teixeira around to the right side, to the bigger part of the ballpark. 3-2 as Gardner trying to work his way on.
It's a steady dose of sliders from Cedeno to Gardner, and if you're Gardner here on a 3-2 pitch, boy, it's hard to look for a fastball. But you still have to guard against a fastball, but also anticipate that this could easily be a slider as well. None of the sliders that Cedeno has thrown Gardner have been in the strike zone. So Gardner's been able to take a couple of them and also swung at a couple.
Wow, that was a tough walk for him. He really earned it. Wasn't really picking up Cedeno that great. And he works a walk on the 3-2 pitch, and now that brings up Headley as a tying run.
You're right, Michael. Hard fought at bat and a good one from Gardner. And Chase Headley represents a tying run in the batter's box right now, and Jim Hickey wants to talk about it.
Crowd of 35,050 here on a Sunday at the stadium.
A couple of scoreless innings from Brian Mitchell here. Kept the Rays at bay. The way Yankees have hit home runs in this ballpark, that's no small feat. Headley's going to have a shot right here. And in the heart of the order with Rodriguez and Teixeira and McCann following.
Headley doubled in the first, fouled out to third in the second, struck out looking in the fifth. Perella at second. Gardner's at first. 4-1 Tampa Bay. We're in the bottom of the seventh. That's strike. So Gomes is up if it gets to A-Rod, who's on deck. And we'll see when they employ McGee.
9 strikes and 7 balls out of the zone from Cedeno so far.
Clips the inside corner. Boy, that's an important pitch. The 1-1 pitch is such an important pitch. Turns the whole at bat around. Now definitely in the pitcher's favor.
Get another look here. I think Headley probably reads this low, as that is clearly borderline at best at the bottom of the zone.
An Ellsbury update. Jacoby flew out to left to end the 7th inning, but not before Paul O'Neill's nephew Michael hit a go-ahead 2-run home run in that game. So the Yankees lead Daytona 5-4 in the 8th. Grounded right back to Cedeno. There's one. On to first, a double play. So he gets Headley to bang into a 1-4-3 inning-ending, rally-killing double play. We go to the 8th inning. It's 4-1 Rays. Rematch 4 years in the making as Alex Morgan and Team USA take on defending champion Japan to see who will be crowned the champion. Coverage begins today at 5 p.m. on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Brian Mitchell in for his third inning of work will deal to the number 3 hitter in the Rays lineup, Evan Longoria. Hyundai scoreboard 4-1 Tampa Bay. You know, they left in Cedeno to spin around the switch hitter Headley to the right side, and not so much that he played to the bigger part of the ballpark, but he's a 214 hitter as a righty, 273 as a lefty. Check swing, slow roller. Gregorius tries to barehand. He didn't need to because Longoria doesn't have the speed. And we'll see how they score that.
I agree with you, Michael. First of all, Mitchell just ties up Longoria, and he doesn't even get out of the box quickly. His head's down, and Gregorius felt the need to barehand when he really didn't have to. Plenty of time to glove it and throw it, as Longoria was hammered in the box by that pitch and very slow to get out.
And he gets a gift base hit. And here's James Looney, 1 for 3, a 2-run single in the first inning.
Plenty of time. You see, he's not even halfway down the line when the ball got to Gregorius. Wicked 93-mile-an-hour slider there from Brian Mitchell, just to give you a little glimpse on the type of arm and stuff this kid has. That was Wade Davis-like from Kansas City.
Let's see if they turn 2. No, they're not going to turn any. And compounding matters, Pirela throws it past Teixeira. Now that's the Yankees' big concern when it comes to Pirela at second. Is he good enough for them defensively at that base? And he turned a double play into first and third, nobody out.
Well, it's not only the bobble, it's what happens after. Nonchalant, no excuse. Plenty of time to get Looney, but for some reason, 2 unforced errors. First from Gregorius and now for Pirela. Go get the ball and throw it to first. He's going to have to stop and check to first, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, I do have time. Let me pick it up and throw it. So very curious.
He's going to get 2 errors on that play.
Yes.
E4 on the bobble and an E4 on the throw. Really, it's so obvious. Terrible defense by the Yankees this inning. So the infield is in, not wanting it to be any more than 4-1. Here's Logan Forsythe. And there's a strike.
One of the keys to middle infield defense, and in talking to Derek Jeter, as you see, the ball does make it into the dugout, and that's the second error on the play, is as Jeter always did, anticipate the flow of the game. Know who's running. Be one step ahead. That's what Gene Michael calls high concentration type players.
Second and third, nobody out. Pitch outside, 1-1.
That's what separates the greats. Knowing James Looney's running. Knowing Evan Longoria is running.
Loop, right field. It is a fair ball. 2 runs will score on the Forsythe single, and it's 6-1, and the Yankee defense really comes back to bite them.
Boy, you're going to see this just catching chalk, clearly fair. Another good pitch from Mitchell. Unlucky result on the pitcher side. Very fortunate on the hitter side. And give Forsythe credit for fighting off that good pitch.
Here's Souza. And a strike.
You know, Michael, people talked about Derek Jeter's defense and his range issues at the end of his career, and a lot was made about, you know, how he played shortstop, especially the last few years. I never saw anybody anticipate the flow of the game better than Jeter. He always was one step ahead. Talk about a high concentration player. Everybody wanted to focus on the defensive metrics with Jeter, you know, at the end of his career, and lack of range, so to speak.
And this is something that's really hurt the Yankees all year. 57 errors, which is third in the American League. And this was a team that was going to be its strength. Every position other than right field had a plus defender. It's not worked out that way. And you're right about Derek, too, David. Nobody brings this up. Yeah, he didn't have range toward the end. But if the ball was hit to him, he's going to make the play.
Made all the routine plays, but also just anticipated the flow of the game, you know, going back to the flip play in Oakland during the playoffs. That's how he was always one step ahead, always thinking about what could happen next, instead of just sitting there reacting.
Capuano was up. Mitchell must be thinking, well, what just happened? I got 2 soft ground balls and a bloop, and I've given up 2 runs. Check swing. Souza obviously got hit with the pitch. But did the swing supersede the hit by pitch? Had to check with the first base umpire.
Looks like that is what they're checking for. And it looks like it does get him on his top hand fingers. Souza is down on one knee, as you see. We'll see the side view here on the check swing part. Well, I don't know how you call that a check swing when you take one off of your knuckles. Even though, by definition, the bat head did get pretty close over home plate. But I got to believe that's a hit batter.
Well, Forsythe is still at first. And Joe Girardi waves at the first base umpire. Dan Iasonu said he didn't go. So you can see Joe's pretty angry. They're still tending to Souza right now.
Girardi thinks this is a check swing. This is what the first base umpire sees. Almost looked like a double hit too, off of his. It hit the hand and then the end of the bat. It's sort of a, like in golf, a double hit.
Looks like they're going to take Souza out of the game. At least Cash made that initial move to CB Buckner.
Take a shot like that off of your knuckles. I don't think there's any way you should stay in this game. Should be right to the X-ray machine. It did hit the end of the bat. From that angle, it looked like it. So off the knuckles and then the end of the bat. And that's probably what Joe Girardi's talking about in terms of a swing, but it hit the knuckles first.
So the hit by Pitt sends Souza to first, sends Girardi to the mound, sends Mitchell to the bench. Deserved a better fate, and the Yankees go to the bullpen. Tagged Yes Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, Brian Mitchell, as I said when he left the mound, deserved a better fate. His defense deserted him. A very sloppy inning that they will not put in the time capsule, but they'll try to keep it here at 6-1 with first and second. Still nobody out. Chris Capuano on in relief. So Capuano will face Kiermaier, who is 2 for 3. Triple, run scored, single, and bounce back to the mound. There's a strike. Headley in on the grass at third for the lefty swinging Kiermaier, who has good speed. Rolls over that one and rolls it to Capuano, who makes a nice play to get the out at first.
Cap's got to come get it. He's the only one that can make this play. Bare hand. All in one motion. Nicely done. Tremendous momentum shift in about a half hour from the last inning, and when the Yankees had first and second and 1 out, to this inning, where 2 unearned runs have already scored and 2 more sit out there with 1 out.
Infield in. Pitch to Elmore outside.
Obviously, got to play the infield all the way in. The Rays bullpen is double barrel.
Blocked by McCann. Six-1 Tampa Bay. We're on the top of the 8th.
A game where the Yankees have as many hits as they have errors. 3 hits, 3 errors. Count 3-0. And the pitch. There's a strike. 3-1. 6 runs on 9 hits for Tampa Bay. 1 miscue in the field. Yankees won 3-3. Elmore starting at third today, batting 8th as Longoria the DH for the Rays. Yankees have the infield in second and third, 1 out. 2 runs already in. Capuano deals. He misses outside, walks Elmore, and that'll bring up Casali. So the base is loaded with 1 out for the number 9 hitter, the catcher.
Capuano, the veteran, understanding with first base open there and behind in the count. Probably better off in this situation. Now the infield's back and you have a chance with the catcher hitting to get a double play ball.
Sac fly for Casali in the second. A double and a run scored in the 5th. Ground ball is short in the 7th. Missed outside. Baltimore leads the White Sox 2-0 top of the 5th. Toronto 9, Detroit 4, bottom of the 7th. And Boston and the Astros 1-1 at Fenway, bottom of the 5th. As we update you on the American League teams right here, 6-1 Tampa Bay.
Capuano's probably best chance to get the ground ball he's looking for is with that changeup. Just saw one there. It was a little bit up. Fouled back. Maybe take a shot inside to speed up the bat with a fastball and then go to the changeup. You can see multiple signs right there from McCann with a man on second.
1-1. 2-1.
Look for Capuano to break that changeup out right now. Try to get the ball on the ground. Slider down and in. Now you're in a pickle. 3-1. You really needed a strike there.
On deck as Drupal Cabrera. 6-1 right now. Rays looking for more. 3-1 count on the number 9 hitter. No place to put him. Yankees back for the double play. And the pitch. He walked him. So Casali walks, that forces in a run, and it's 7-1 Rays. Larry Rothschild out to the mound. Well, no defense for that. Well, coming up after the final, I'll keep it right here on Yes for the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry are back in our studios to give you expert analysis of all today's key plays, plus get instant reaction from Ryan Rucco and the players in the clubhouse. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame only on Yes. So now you have a tougher hitter in Cabrera. The numbers, the average lower, but Casali was just called up or recalled in June. Cabrera has long been a better hitter, a more dangerous hitter. Bases loaded again, double play depth. High fly ball, right field. Jones is on the track. He'll make the play. Souza tags. He will score. Moving to third is Elmore. It's a sac fly for Cabrera, his 22nd ribby. And it's now 8-1 Tampa Bay. One of those innings the Yankees would rather forget. Here's David DeJesus. Well, pinch hitting for DeJesus is Brandon Guyer. First and third, 2 outs. Fly ball, right field. Garrett Jones will make the play. The Rays send 9 batters to the plate. They score 4 runs. Yankees make 2 errors by that man right there. Show as the skipper answers all your burning questions surrounding the Yankees, plus updates on the injury report. It's all new today after the postgame, and it's only on Yes. Different defense for the Rays. You have Brandon Guyer, who had pinch hit for DeJesus. He's in right, so Souza out of the game after getting hit with the pitch. Joey Butler takes over in left field, and on the mound is Everett Teaford. So Teaford, the second of the 3 lefties in the bullpen. This is second game, and he will face the Yankee offense today. A-Rod, a home run in the 6th. There's a strike. Alex with his 16th home run of the year, a solo shot obviously in the 6th inning. Picked up his 47th ribby. Hyundai scoreboard 8-1 Tampa Bay. Now, the Yankees were trailing before the top of the 8th inning, but you kind of took yourself out of the realm of a realistic comeback from 4-1 now to 8-1, and you did it because of really embarrassingly sloppy defense, and you don't want to harp on it, but that was such the difference in that inning. Didi Gregorius trying to barehand a ground ball when he didn't even have to do that. Longoria wasn't even halfway to first base. And then the play by Pirela, Girardi is such a stickler for those things. That's got to chap him. Not only does he bobble the ball, but then he takes his time and lollygags after it and compounds the error by throwing it away for a second error, and that sets up the whole inning.
Yeah, it was difficult. Brian Mitchell made some good pitches there, deserved a better fate. That's probably the only positive you can take out of that situation, really, is those, Brian Mitchell threw the ball well again, in his third inning of relief.
Teixeira grounds one to third.
One point earlier in the year where the Yankees had all lefties in their bullpen, it seemed like, and kind of short of right-handed power arms. That's not the case now. Obviously, Adam Warren down there, and we'll get to Teixeira's look right down the line as he gets tied up, and it's hugging the line. Tried to come back too. It took a little right-hand turn here at the end. Very close to shaving the edge of the bag.
Teixeira today is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Michael, you mentioned the Yankees have an off day tomorrow, Monday, and then the Athletics come in for 3, and then the Red Sox in Boston, and then the All-Star break. And schedule really does favor the Yankees in the second half.
They play 44 of the final 81 games at home.
It's just the opposite. The first half they had 37 home games and 44 road games. You see Nick Rumbelow, the righty, warming up. Going to be 44 home games and 37 road games the rest of the way. And no West Coast trips
anymore. That's the key. One, two. 2-2. Hammered foul.
A lot of times major league teams talk about the dog days of August. The Yankees are at home a lot in August. 16 games. To me, that's a favorable schedule. When you start to wear down, you've got some age on your roster. Even though that age is carrying you, certainly the veterans have been outstanding.
See if they turn 2. They do. So Teixeira bangs into a 5-4-3 double play. And as far as I can remember, David, there's no rain out. So you're not looking at any double headers at this point in the second half of the season. There's actually only been one rain delay. Brian McCann takes a strike from Everett Tiford.
Yankees will also enjoy 17 games at home in September. So August and September. Let's see a lot of home games here through the dog days of August. Very favorable to the Yankees.
1-2. And one of the road games in September is across the RFK Bridge at Citi Field. Swing and a miss. Tiford strikes out McCann, and that'll do it here in the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and because of the DP, nobody left. Let's take it to the 9th. 8-1 Rays.
and heroics on an all-new Yankeeography Moments of Glory, featuring interviews with teammates and insight from number 51 himself. That's Wednesday at 11, and it's only on Yes. New pitcher for the Yankees, Nick Rumbelow. Had a good time at Bernie Williams Day this year. Retired number 51. Still to come, Andy Pettitte and Jorge Posada. Rumbelow, his 4th game here in the Bigs. And he'll face Longoria here in the 9th. That knocked the mask off of McCann. Top of the 6th inning, White Sox trail the Orioles 2-0. Houston and Boston 1-1, top of the 6th. Toronto 9, Detroit 4, top of the 8th at Comerica. One. Soccer so much in the news with the Women's World Cup final tonight, and we started to think about our colleague Paul O'Neill. Because 26 years ago today, Paul O'Neill pulled a soccer move on a baseball field, and it actually worked out for him, because things work out for Paul. We'll show you what we're talking about in a sec. 2-2. So let's go back 26 years, David.
Base hit right field, but they're going to have to hold Jeltz at third. Going now, the ball gets away from O'Neill. He kicks it to Ben. We'll never ever again see this, so take a look.
Good form by O'Neill.
Bengals are on the phone.
Now, we've talked to Paul about that. He thought the game was over. He thought the run had scored. He had no chance. And I guess he kicked it to Todd Benzinger. And Benzinger had no idea. High fly ball left field. Young makes the play. He had no idea that O'Neill kicked the ball. They're sitting next to each other in the dugout at the end of the inning, and he said, hey, I mean, you had nothing on that throw. Is your arm okay?
That's incredible. Just incredible. That will forever be on the all-time blooper list. Top 10, top 5. 100 years from now, they'll be playing that clip.
And only with O'Neill would it work out. It worked out.
Charmed.
(1-0) to Looney. Looney is the one who hit the ground ball to Pirella. Made 2 errors on the play, opened the floodgates in the 8th. Rumbelow gets him a swing and miss.
The thing about Paul O'Neill is you saw him in the Reds uniform there. He looks exactly the same today. Same hair, same afro. Kind of the curly, big, poofy do working. Great hair he's got.
Still has a 30-inch waist.
Hasn't changed a bit.
No.
On Bernie Williams Day, he was running out on the field, and I was part of the ceremony on the field, and I couldn't help but know. I said, Paulie, what's your waist size? He said, 33.
Is it 33?
33 is what he said. 6'4", 230, and a 33-inch waist.
Somewhere there's a picture of Dorian Gray. The 1-2, and Looney swings and misses. In that game, O'Neill saved the game just for a moment because the Reds ended up losing on Jeff Reed's pass ball that scored Steve Jeltz. Jeltz was held up on third on O'Neill's kick. So speaking of soccer, USA-Japan tonight, 5 o'clock on Fox, World Cup final. How's that tying it all in?
Thinking about Stick Michael and what a great trade that was to get O'Neill here in the Bronx. Hometown boy, too. Stole O'Neill from Cincinnati.
Roberto Kelly. And it was the fact that they thought that Bernie could be a success that gave them the ability to trade Roberto Kelly. And they actually asked Lou Piniella, who was Paul's manager, would he be able to play in New York? He said yes. He gave him high marks. And you also do hear a lot of guys that play in hometown say it's tough to play in hometown.
Speaking from experience, it was for me in Kansas City.
Now, he's not a Cincinnati kid in terms of birth. He grew up in Columbus, but the Reds were his team. Swing and a miss. Rumbelow with a nice inning as he strikes out Forsythe and retires the Rays in order. Do the Yankees have a rally in their bones in the bottom of the ninth? They trail 8-1. Drive of the game.
Well, of course, it's going to come off the bat of Yankee killer James Looney. Nova actually gets the sinker down. Looney hooks it right in the hole. Well placed. Bat on ball, 2 RBIs. James Looney, Land Rover drive of the game.
Garrett Jones takes outside from Tiefert as we start the bottom of the ninth inning. Yankees 7 runs down. And now 2-0 on Jones. Jones, Young, and Gregorius. Ground ball. And Jones is done for the first out.
It's a whole new meaning to the scorebook now. Whether the old 4-3 or 6-3. I mean, with these shifts, it doesn't matter. Ground ball to the right side. One of those guys got him. I can't tell you what that was. What was that? How do you score that one?
Was that Longoria, or was that Forsythe? We'll have to check. It does take away the meaning of a 5-3 if it was Longoria, because obviously it wasn't hit to third. It was 4-3. It was Forsythe.
A nice play, too.
Yeah, that would have been a tough play for Longoria to make because he was the DH. That would have had to be Elmore.
Range.
It's from the bench. Boston's taking a 2-1 lead over the Astros. Bottom of the 6th. Baltimore 2-0 over the White Sox. Top of the 6th. And Detroit trying to climb back in it. Top of the 9th inning, Toronto 9, Detroit 5. Yankees entered action today with a 2-game lead in the American League East, so they'll be in first place no matter what at the end of the day.
Going to go up to Boston next weekend, too. Boston's not dead. I'll tell you that.
No.
Pedroia's on the DL right now. He may be back for that series against the Yankees up at Fenway before the All-Star break. But this American League Eastern Division is just going to be incredible to watch in the second half.
Young swings and misses, and the Yankees are down to their final out as Gregorius will come to the plate.
Such contrasting styles in the American League East. You know, Tampa Bay offensively challenged, but with the best pitching, and Toronto just the opposite. Great offense, has trouble preventing runs, and Baltimore's playing better. Of course, the Yankees right in the middle of it in first place. Boston definitely has a run in them coming back. Their offense is picking up. Mookie Betts in the leadoff hole has really been hot lately. Trying to find the right lineup in Boston, as we noted before. Big Papi playing first base and Napoli sitting. And these Rays just seem to hang in there. All the rookie pitching, all the injuries. Truly a remarkable first half for them.
This should do it. Ground ball to second. Forsythe to Looney, and the Yankees lose 8-1. Their 3-game winning streak is snapped. The Rays salvage the final game of a 3-game set. Their 7-game losing streak is snapped, and they continue to hang in the American League East. 8-9-1, beating 1-3-3 as the Yankee defense a bit shaky. We'll throw back to the studio where Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry will set the table for the rest of the show. Guys?